Sometimes one perfect moment can make you a legend and destroy your dreams at the same time. Jermaine Lawson's story begins in Spanish Town, Jamaica, where cricket was more than just a game. It was hope. Born on January 13, 1982, young Jermaine grew up in tough conditions where poverty and crime were daily realities. But when he picked up a cricket ball, something magical happened. He could throw it faster than boys twice his age, and local coaches quickly noticed this special gift. Spanish Town wasn't an easy place to live, but cricket offered a way out, a chance for a better life that seemed impossible otherwise. The teenager spent hours every day practicing his bowling, running to build strength, and dreaming of becoming, like his heroes Michael Holding and Courtney Walsh. These were the legendary West Indies fast bowlers who had terrorized batsmen around the world. Jermaine's natural bowling action was smooth and powerful, generating speeds over 90 mph even as a teenager. His dedication was incredible. He would practice until his arms hurt, knowing that each delivery could bring him closer to his dream of playing international cricket. Local cricket clubs in Jamaica started talking about this young fast bowler, who could make experienced batsmen look foolish. When Jermaine played for Jamaica in domestic competitions, he proved he could trouble the best players in the Caribbean. His deliveries would bounce high and fast, forcing batsmen to place shots they didn't want to play. Wicket keepers had to stand far back to catch his bowling, and opposing teams began to fear facing this young Jamaican who bowled with such pace and aggression. The call to play for the West Indies came faster than anyone expected. In 2002, at just 20 years old, Jermaine was selected for his first test match. The West Indies team was struggling during this period, having lost much of their dominance from the 1980s and 1990s. They desperately needed new talent, especially fast bowlers, who could take wickets consistently and put pressure on opposing teams. Jermaine seemed perfect for this role. Young, hungry, and capable of bowling genuinely fast. His early international performances showed glimpses of greatness that excited cricket fans everywhere. In just his third test match against Bangladesh, Jermaine produced an amazing performance, taking 6 wickets for only 3 runs. This devastating spell of bowling left the Bangladesh batsmen helpless and announced to the cricket world that a new star had arrived. Cricket experts began predicting a bright future for this young fast bowler who could generate speeds over 95 mph and seemed to have the mental strength needed for international cricket. But it was 2003 that would make Jermaine Lawson a permanent part of cricket history. Australia, the world's best cricket team at that time, was touring the Caribbean for a test series. The Australian team included some of the greatest players ever: Ricky Ponting, Steve Waugh, and Adam Gilchrist. These were batsmen who scored runs easily against bowling attacks around the world, and most experts expected Australia to win the series without much trouble. However, Jermaine had other plans. The third test match took place at Kensington Oval in Barbados, one of cricket's most famous venues. Jermaine had been sick with chickenpox before the match, an illness that could have prevented him from playing. But he refused to miss this opportunity to bowl against the world's best batsman on his home ground. What happened next was pure magic, that cricket fans still remember and talk about today. In Australia's first innings, Jermaine took 2 quick wickets with back-to-back deliveries. Brett Lee and Stuart McGill both fell to fierce-paced bowling that gave them no chance to defend properly. Australia eventually declared their innings at 6:05 for 9, setting up their second innings. When the Australian batsman returned to face Jermaine with the new ball, he was ready to create history. His first delivery of Australia's second innings was aimed at Justin Langer, one of their most experienced and reliable batsmen. The ball was fast, straight, and perfectly placed. Langer, surprised by the pace and accuracy, was clean bowled with his stumps scattered everywhere. The crowd at Kensington Oval went wild with celebration. Jermaine Lawson had just completed a hat trick, taking 3 wickets in consecutive deliveries across 2 different innings. This wasn't just any hat trick. Taking 3 wickets in a row is rare enough in cricket, but doing it against the world's best team made it extraordinary. Having 2 wickets at the end of one innings and completing the hat trick with the first ball of the next innings made it even more special. Jermaine became only the 4th West Indian bowler in history to achieve this incredible feat, joining legends of Caribbean cricket. At just 21 years old, he had reached the peak of his profession and earned his place in cricket history forever. But Jermaine wasn't finished creating magic. A week later, in the 4th Test at Antigua, he produced what many consider one of the greatest fast bowling performances in West Indies cricket history. Having recovered from his chickenpox, Jermaine destroyed Australia's batting lineup with pace, bounce, and intelligent bowling that left even experienced Australian batsmen looking helpless. His figures of 7 wickets for 78 runs in 19.1 overs represented the best bowling performance of his career and helped the West Indies achieve a famous victory against the world champions. The scenes at the ground were incredible. Caribbean cricket fans hadn't seen their team dominate Australia like this for many years. Jermaine was bowling with the pace and aggression that reminded older fans of the great West Indies, fast bowlers from the past. Young fans were witnessing their new hero in action, a Jamaican fast bowler who could make the world's best batsmen duck for cover and eventually lose their wickets. This was classic Caribbean fast bowling at its finest, and Jermaine Lawson was the star everyone was talking about. Cricket experts around the world started predicting a glorious future for this young fast bowler. He had pace, skill, and had proven he could perform under extreme pressure against the world's best batsmen. Many people expected him to lead the West Indies bowling attack for the next decade, taking hundreds of wickets and terrorizing batsmen in every cricket-playing country. Sponsorship deals and endorsement opportunities began appearing, promising financial security that could transform his life and help his family back in Jamaica. However, cricket can be brutally cruel to those who play it professionally. The same physical attributes that made Jermaine such a devastating fast bowler also put enormous strain on his body. His pace, his aggressive bowling action, and his willingness to bowl bouncer after bouncer created repetitive stress on his joints, muscles, and bones. Fast bowling is one of the most physically demanding activities in all sports, requiring explosive power, perfect timing, and placing incredible stress on the human body. Even the strongest and fittest athletes can break down under these pressures. The problems started small, with minor aches and pains that most fast bowlers learn to ignore as part of their job. But by 2004, during England's tour of the Caribbean, Jermaine was experiencing serious back problems that affected his ability to bowl at full pace. The pain was constant and getting worse with every match he played. Medical examinations revealed devastating news. Jermaine had suffered a spinal stress fracture, a serious injury that could end any fast bowler's career immediately. Spinal stress. Fractures are among the most serious injuries that can affect fast bowlers. The spine absorbs enormous forces every time a bowler delivers the ball at high speed, and over time, this stress can cause tiny cracks to develop in the vertebrae. If not properly treated, these cracks can become complete fractures that could cause permanent damage or even paralysis. For Jermaine, this injury meant months away from cricket, extensive medical treatment, and the terrifying possibility that he might never bowl fast again. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just when his career was reaching new heights, just when he was establishing himself as one of the world's most feared fast bowlers, his body was failing him. He missed the ICC Champions Trophy in 2004, a major tournament that would have given him the chance to showcase his talents against teams from around the world. Instead of bowling in packed stadiums and adding to his growing reputation, he was spending his days in medical facilities, working with doctors and physiotherapists, trying to repair the damage to his spine. But Jermaine's problems went beyond just the physical injury. During his recovery period, cricket officials began questioning his bowling action, suggesting that the way he delivered the ball might be illegal under cricket's rules. This was devastating news for any bowler, but particularly cruel for someone already struggling with serious injury. The suggestion was that Jermaine's action involved throwing the ball rather than bowling it legally, a technical issue that would require him to completely reconstruct the way he had bowled since childhood. Having your bowling action questioned is one of the most traumatic experiences any bowler can face. It attacks the very foundation of everything they have learned and practiced throughout their career. For Jermaine, who had built his reputation on his natural fast bowling ability, being told that his action might be illegal was like being accused of cheating throughout his entire career. The psychological impact was enormous, adding mental stress to the physical problems he was already facing with his back injury. The process of changing a bowling action is incredibly difficult and often unsuccessful. Bowlers must work with special coaches to completely rebuild their technique, learning new ways to deliver the ball that feel completely unnatural after years of bowling differently. Many bowlers who go through this process never regain their previous effectiveness, losing pace, accuracy, or both. For a fast bowler like Jermaine, whose entire effectiveness depended on pace and natural rhythm, this process was particularly dangerous to his career prospects. Despite these enormous challenges, Jermaine showed the same fighting spirit that had carried him from the tough streets of Spanish Town to international cricket success. He worked tirelessly with biomechanics experts and bowling coaches to modify his action, spending countless hours in practice facilities trying to learn new techniques while maintaining the pace and effectiveness that made him special. The process was frustrating, exhausting, and often discouraging, but he refused to give up on his cricket career. By 2005, Jermaine had completed the remedial work on his bowling action and was cleared to return to international cricket. His comeback initially showed promise, with some good performances that suggested he might be able to recapture his previous form. However, the combination of his back problems and the changes to his bowling action meant that he was never quite the same devastating fast bowler who had terrorized Australia just 2 years earlier. He had lost some pace, and more importantly, he had lost the natural rhythm and confidence that had made him so effective. The cricket world is unforgiving too. Players who cannot maintain their peak performance. Selectors began looking at other fast bowling options, and Jermaine found himself in and out of the West Indies team as younger players were given opportunities to establish themselves. Each time he was dropped from the team, it became harder to fight his way back, particularly as his body continued to struggle with the physical demands of fast bowling. The back problems persisted, limiting his ability to bowl long spells and maintain the intensity that had once made him feared by batsmen around the world. By 2006, it was becoming clear that Jermaine's international cricket career was effectively over. The combination of ongoing injury problems, the disruption caused by having to change his bowling action, and the emergence of new fast bowling talent meant that he was no longer considered a realistic option for West Indies selection. At just 24 years old, a player who had once been considered the future of West Indies fast bowling was facing the end of his international career. The dreams of leading the bowling attack for years to come had been shattered by injuries and technical problems beyond his control. The reality of professional sport is that careers can end suddenly and without warning. One day you're bowling to the world's best batsmen in front of packed stadiums, and the next day you're wondering what to do with the rest of your life. For Jermaine, this transition was particularly difficult because his career had ended not through any fault of his own, but through injuries and technical issues that had prevented him from fulfilling his enormous potential. He had experienced the highest highs of international cricket success, only to have it taken away just as quickly. Like many professional cricketers whose careers end prematurely, Jermaine faced difficult decisions about his future. He could continue trying to play cricket at lower levels, hoping that his body would recover enough to allow him to return to the highest level. Alternatively, he could accept that his international career was over and begin planning for life after cricket. The financial realities of his situation also had to be considered. Unlike cricket superstars who earn millions of dollars, Jermaine's brief international career had not provided enough money to ensure long-term financial security. The decision to leave the Caribbean and start a new life in the United States represented a fresh beginning for Jermaine. America offered opportunities that weren't available in Jamaica or other Caribbean countries. The chance to work in different industries, to continue playing cricket at a lower level, and to build a life away from constant reminders of what his career might have been. Moving to New York, one of the world's great cities, represented both an adventure and a practical decision about his future. New York's cricket scene, while not as prominent as in traditional cricket-playing countries, offered Jermaine the chance to continue playing the game he loved without the intense pressure of international competition. The city has a strong cricket community, with players from the Caribbean, South Asia, and other cricket-playing regions forming clubs and leagues that provide competitive cricket throughout the year. For someone with Jermaine's experience and skill level, even with his physical limitations, he could still be a dominant player in these competitions. The transition from international cricket star to amateur player in New York leagues must have been emotionally challenging. Playing on smaller grounds in front of smaller crowds, against players who might recognize his name but had never experienced the pressure of international competition, required significant mental adjustment. However, it also provided the opportunity to rediscover his love for cricket without the enormous pressure that comes with representing your country and trying to maintain a professional career. In 2014, more than 8 years after his West Indies career had effectively ended, Jermaine received an unexpected opportunity to return to international cricket. The United States cricket team, trying to develop their program and compete in international tournaments, offered him the chance to represent his adopted country. At age 32, with his best cricket years behind him, Jermaine made his debut for the American national cricket team at the World Cricket League Division III tournament in Malaysia. This return to international cricket was both triumphant and sad. Triumphant because it proved that his talent and experience still had value at the international level, even though he could no longer bowl at the fearsome pace that had once made him famous. Sad because it highlighted what might have been. If injuries and technical problems hadn't derailed his career, he could have been leading the West Indies bowling attack instead of trying to help the United States establish themselves as a cricket-playing nation. Today, Jermaine continues to live in the New York area, maintaining his connection to cricket through local leagues and coaching activities. His story represents both the glory and tragedy of professional sport. His hat trick against Australia remains one of the most exciting moments in Caribbean cricket history, reminding fans of the days when West Indies fast bowlers could strike fear into the hearts of the world's best batsmen. Yet his subsequent struggles with injury and the premature end of his career serve as a reminder that sporting success can be fleeting and that even the most talented athletes are vulnerable to circumstances beyond their control. The tragedy of Jermaine Lawson's career isn't just that it ended prematurely, but that it ended just as he was beginning to fulfill his enormous potential. At 21, he had already achieved more than most cricketers accomplish in their entire careers. But those achievements only hinted at what might have been possible if his body had been able to withstand the demands of international fast bowling. His hat trick and devastating bowling against Australia showed glimpses of a talent that could have dominated world cricket for years to come. Discover how one magical cricket moment created a legend and broke a dream forever.